So about 5 years ago, I decided to leave my country and move to a country that I effectively knew nothing about. I could not speak the language and I could not understand how the day-to-day culture worked. I live in Tokyo, Japan. And even with all those obstacles in the way, I created a business that in its first year managed to make over $100,000 in income. And over the years, that number has continued to grow. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to reach our next significant milestone. So with all that experience on our side, I have learned to detect certain signs that determine whether or not you're in the right path towards financial stability. And with that out of the way, I would like to share with you 6 signs that you might be doing well financially, even if it doesn't feel like it. Now, for a first sign, you must remember that regardless of the circumstances, you can always become a person who lives paycheck to paycheck. There are people who make $40,000 a year who live paycheck to paycheck, just like there are people who make $300,000 a year who also live paycheck to paycheck. It all comes down to how you manage your money. Well, it's easy to compare yourself to others who might have a more extravagant lifestyle, going out to eat multiple times a week or driving fancy cars. Feeling comfortable in your own circumstances is a positive sign. If you can cover your basic needs, have an occasional treat or two, and maintain a balanced budget, then you're likely doing much better than you think. It's also very useful to remember the importance of living within your means. This means that as you move on to bigger things and start making more money, you don't necessarily go out and buy a bigger house, a fancy car, or more expensive things. You instead continue living a reasonably modest lifestyle and make sound financial decisions and investments that will lead you to better results down the line. Which brings us right to our next point. And I am sure you've heard this a lot. You need to diversify your investments. However, it's important to understand that diversifying your investments is a smart financial move that indicates you're on the right track. Now, keeping in mind the current state of the market, making a plan to have a well-balanced portfolio with different types of investments such as stocks, bonds, real estate, and other assets shows that you're taking steps to grow your wealth and secure your future. However, it doesn't really matter how far along you're in this journey. Me personally, I've only just recently started getting into the stock market and diversifying my investments over the past couple of years. What's important is making a plan and having the willingness and willpower to stick to it and follow through. Even if you're a beginner and you're just starting your financial journey, it's absolutely necessary to arm yourself with the right knowledge to stay on the right track. Which is why it's absolutely important to become financially knowledgeable. Now, it's estimated that over 50% of the population of all major world economies are financially illiterate. Don't be one of those people. Having a basic understanding of financial concepts and strategies is absolutely fundamental in order to become financially successful. If you're actively learning about personal finance and consuming finance-related content, seeking advice whenever it's needed, and trying to make informed decisions about your money, you are in a position of strength. And it shows that you're taking responsibility for your financial success instead of just leaving it to the hands of fate. Now, our next point is the all-important emergency fund. I know an emergency fund may not sound like the most exciting thing in the world, but it can very literally save your life. And actually, one of the clearest signs of financial stability is understanding the importance of an emergency fund. For example, earlier this year I suffered an accident where a Japanese kitchen knife, you know the ones, very sharp and deadly, actually slipped out of my hands and landed right on the top of my foot. And it cut clean through a couple of tendons. And what came after that was actually a heavy operation followed by multiple months of not being able to walk, using crutches, and having physical therapy sessions on a regular basis. And gladly, thanks to some money that I had set aside precisely for this kind of cases, and also thanks to the Japanese medical system, I was able to easily pay for the entire procedure as well as cover the expenses for all the long months of recovery. The point that I'm trying to make is that if you have enough money set aside to cover eventualities that could arise at any point, like car repairs, home repairs, or even an accident, then you're likely doing much better than you think. An emergency fund actually provides you with a safety net, ensuring that you won't have to rely on credit cards or loans to cover the expenses in a time of crisis. Had I not had that money set aside, I would have most likely gone into debt and I would have had to pay it back with interest rates, meaning that at the end of the day I would have ended up losing a lot more money. And our next point is that you have low levels of debt. Now, you could understand that having low levels of debt could mean that you're generally in a healthy financial situation. So if you are, for example, taking care of your credit card payments, paying your mortgage on time, or perhaps your student loans, then you're in a position of strength. And being able to control and reduce your debt shows that generally you're good at managing your finances. There are always going to be people who will be willing to get into serious amount of debt to play the status game, showing their friends their new house or their fancy car, or going on extravagant trips around the world. But you know better, you know that the status game is a dangerous game to play. You make consistent savings. Regularly contributing to your savings account, retirement funds, and investments is also a very important sign of financial success. At the beginning, you might only be able to set aside, let's say, 10% of your income, but as you move forward and start making more money, you should also make it an objective to set aside bigger portions of your income into your savings and investments. And that's also part of our next point, which is you set clear financial goals. Now, setting and achieving financial objectives is actually a very good indicator of your financial health, and it works in two very interesting ways. On the one hand, it serves as a good horizon to move towards, a clear destination for your hard-earned money, and sometimes a sense of direction can give us a good sense of stability. And on the other hand, when you accomplish these objectives, when you reach these goals, they make you feel good. They motivate you and give you a very welcomed dopamine boost, which helps to keep you moving forward and accomplishing even more things. So whether it's covering your student loans, buying a new home, or paying for your dream vacation, having a financial plan and making steady progress is a good sign of financial success. You have peace of mind. One of the most telling signs of financial well-being is your peace of mind. Money can definitely be a source of stress for many people and families around the world. So if you are not constantly stressed about money, and if you can sleep soundly knowing that your financial house is not going to crumble, then you're likely doing well. True financial success is not just about the numbers, but it's also about the sense of security, stability, and contentment that comes with it. So if you feel that some of these points might describe you and your financial situation, then congratulations. Maybe you're not doing so badly after all. So keep moving forward, and I'll see you next time.